Right, hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Indie Plug. Today I'm going solo as I talk to lead singer Ollie and guitarist Arthur from the Bath-based band the Longcoats. How are you guys today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, man, I'm all right.
Good stuff, good stuff. Before we get into talking about your band, where did it all start for you musically? What are some of your earliest music memories growing up?
Ooh.
First, Ollie.
What, like, music memories as in like being a kid or like starting playing music?
Let's start with as a kid, before the whole band stuff.
Oh, wow. I mean, as a kid, obviously, like, I was the youngest of four siblings, so I kind of inherited sense of like the pop music at the time. I was just kind of into whatever they were into. Like, it was the early 2000s and McFly and Sum 41 and all that fun stuff. But also I was like introduced to bands like the Stones and the Beatles and Oasis I had a lot of different stuff going on as a kid. It's probably just singing along to CDs in the car on the way back from school.
Of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I had a similar sort of thing, although I didn't, weirdly, because of my parents' music tastes, I never heard any real 2000s music until I was about 14. So I've kind of got this big hole where everyone feels nostalgic and I just have nothing there. So I kind of, when I was a kid, I used to listen to...
He's empty.
Like,
He's empty.
I'm empty. I've got a void. Yeah, I used to love listening to like the Beach Boys, the Doors, the Police in the car. But I think my first proper, music, yeah, moment was, I think it was on my 11th birthday. I got Let's Dance, the Bowie album, and then like China Girl came on in the car, and I was like, music. And it kind of went from there.
So obviously, you two both had nostalgic memories in terms of parents' music, like the Stones, as you said, Ollie. Do you think that these early music memories have influenced your band in some way?
I mean, definitely in some way or another, yeah, as everything does. Maybe not so much stuff like Beatles and Stones, because as much as I'd like to put that sort of thing in there, I don't think I'm musically intelligent enough to put that sort of thing in there. So it's kind of more of it's more of an appreciation and sometimes stuff like lyrical homage. But other than that, I guess mostly our music is kind of based around that 2000s indie, like the Kooks and the Strokes and stuff. That was very much what influenced my writing for it.
Pure trash.
Oh, give over.
So I read on your Spotify info page that you class your music as classic British indie rock with a sprinkle of American pop rock. Where does the American side of things come from?
Just how poppy it is, I guess. It's definitely got like real Americanized elements and like the rockier parts of it. It's more like American pop rock and pop punk and stuff kind of blends in there a little bit.
Yeah, it's in there all right.
So Arthur, do you feel that because you have influences from both British and American music, that you can have a wider target audience and perhaps expand your fan base further than other indie bands?
We'd hope so, definitely,
Yeah.
The key really is to be able to crack America as well. Because weirdly, like all the bands from kind of around Bath at the moment, no one really knows them in England, but they're doing so well in America that they just tour in America and they can live off that. So it's just a bigger audience, I guess, and also the whole independent music scene in America's done a lot better.
cracking America is definitely the key.
Because I don't know, indie music in Britain just isn't really indie.
Slightly easier.
Yeah.
Anyways, in 2019 you formed your band, the Longcoats. How did it come about?
Well, me and Arthur met in school. We've been friends since we were 15 and 16. And our drummer came when I was in college, and our previous bassist Norton, we met when I started uni last year. We formed really early on, but we were doing it in and out in different ways with different members for like at least 3 years before Longcoats actually became a thing.
Yeah, because the previous iteration was accidentals, I guess, and then we found a more
That was
solid
good crack.
lineup, and then we had a bit of a rebrand.
Mm.
Yeah.
How about the name? Why are you called the Longcoats?
Well, I lived in Guildford for a year, a couple of years ago, and the only coat I remembered to actually take with me to uni was this long black coat that my brother left at my house years ago, and I just kind of nicked, and it got really tattered. And I was doing a photo shoot for a band I was in it at the time there, and I was like, Longcoat would be a pretty neat name. And I just kind of sat on it for ages. And then we were making demos really early in 2019. And Arthur was driving me back home. And I was like, we should call it Longcoats. And he's like, yeah, that's not bad. And it's typical, yeah, cool.
Yeah, man.
We'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So it's just a kind of light bulb moment. It's a very simple name.
Yeah, you know, you just got to have something quick and memorable that isn't massively offensive. You know, so it kind of
Like your
fit
sex
that.
life.
Yeah, awful. Number one.
Given that it is so early into the progression of the band, although obviously you've had previous bands, the Accidentals, before lockdown, how were you getting your songs out there? What are some of your ways you promote your band? Have you played many gigs?
Yeah, lots and lots of shows, and just
Well, it's all, yeah, shameless promotion.
shameless promotion on social media and playing lots of shows in and around the West Country, pretty much.
Yeah, we kind of built a brand early on of being quite comical.
What I want to know from this upcoming EP, October, which is released on Halloween, is can we expect any Halloween
Yeah.
songs, or is the direction of the band already seen in the last two songs being continued?
Yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
previous
on
to,
the actual album, you're not going to hear any Halloween songs, but we're doing a cool gig for it. And we'll probably throw some Halloween stuff in there.
The release of October also sees the departure of two of your band members, Kane and Norton, and the introduction of Joe and Ollie.
Yeah.
How will this change the band?
Yeah. Well, Kane is doing one last gig with us because of lockdown. We wanted to kind of the EP. Norton is in another band that are super busy on the same time, so he couldn't come do the same. But it's going to be a very different dynamic, and I'm interested to see how it's going to change how we write and how we perform. Because we've known Kane for years, and it feels like we've known Norton for years. So it'll definitely be a very different band dynamic. But the new drummer Ollie, I went to college with, and is one of Arthur's closest mates. And
yeah,
it's definitely going to be similar but different.
Yeah, but you know, with both me and you, Ollie, it's probably going to be more of the same, really.
Yeah,
knowing us,
it really is.
Yeah.
But you're able to be experimental.
Stars of the show.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of wiggle room for expression in there. We'll just kind of see where the wind takes us, I suppose. Whatever feels right should be the direction we take, really.
Fair enough. Well, what was your creative process behind the upcoming EP? When you got into the studio, did you already have song ideas, or was there more need for brainstorming as such?
What, in the writing process? I mean, it varies. It definitely varies more now, especially with lockdown, having to find new ways to sort of communicate songs between each other without actually being there. But often it's based around something like I've previously written. We kind of run with that.
Yeah, so normally it's just a process of Ollie will write something, and for used to being used, we went into the studio initially and kind of did a brainstorming session, and that's when the initial demo came out. I think that's up on SoundCloud now. But yeah, we went in again and re-recorded it once we kind of got more
Yeah.
familiar with it, because we
Sure.
hadn't been playing it live yet.
Used to being used was kind of definitely, yeah.
But
Yeah.
normally the song is there and we just go in and bosh it out as quickly as we can.
Do you feel there is a good understanding between the songwriter and the rest of the band when you go into the studio?
I reckon so. Yeah.
Is there a good understanding? Yeah, I'd definitely
Yeah.
say so.
It's, you know, we're always playing for the song as opposed to, you know, trying to show off or whatnot. It's always about the song at the end of the day.
Well, I can't even show off even if I wanted to.
Apart from the Eddie Vedder bit at the end of Used to Being Used.
Do you feel that is necessary for the whole band to understand the thought process behind each song?
Well, usually it's a sort of it's kind of a communal effort.
Really, no. Yeah.
So, you know,
There has to be a communal, but I don't think there needs to be a super deep understanding of what the songs are. A real understanding between the vibe. Because lyrical content song is or isn't about, it's not always a matter to a drummer or to a bassist, because they haven't written it. They're just trying to feel of what I felt writing it, and we just kind of have to have an understanding between musicians and an understanding of the actual content of the song.
And what about the song Drag? What is that all about? What was the thought process behind it?
In a sentence, teenage girls suck.
Yeah.
That's kind of the best way to that sentence can kind of sum up a lot of what I've written.
This is true.
Teenage girls suck and I'm very unlucky in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, drag's about a few people and a few events that kind of happened, and just kind of a big realization that I was just done with it.
It was quite a funny process for actually making the polished song that you hear now, because actually,
yeah,
when I first heard it, I was running late for rehearsal because the traffic was so bad, and I heard it through the door of the rehearsal room because they had to come and let me out. So, and it sounded very different until I hopped on it as well, because the riff you hear at the start and after the choruses wasn't there initially, and yeah, we just felt it out, and you know, the 3/4 fills as well. That was all just us, me and Kane, having a little jam over it in the rehearsal space itself. So yeah, it's quite in the room, our songwriting process, I suppose. Yeah,
we definitely vibe off each other a lot. What I write and what you end up hearing can often be quite different. I actually listened to the first ever recording of Used to Being Used on my voice notes the other day from June 2019, the day it was written, and you can see how it happened, but it's quite a different song, and it was a different song when we recorded it the first time, and then it was a completely different song by the time you heard the master version that's out now. Like they change and they develop. Lyrics sometimes change, sometimes things get simplified or things get added. We definitely try and feel out in the room more than I'm kind of sitting there doing everything.
Yeah, so that would be an example of you guys all understanding each other in the studio, because obviously you've got the guitarist playing.
Yeah.
They already know what you kind of want.
Well, me and Arthur have been friends for so long, and when you're friends with someone that long and you hang out with someone that much and you spend that much time, the understanding between each other becomes a lot easier. And me and Cade had been friends for a good, so it was always pretty easy to make our way and find each other quite well. I think so long and so many. The sort of early process of trying to feel out the first few songs was a lot easier than than it had been before.
Yeah. Is there anything you do outside of music that in some way contributes to your musicality anyways? In essence, a hobby that rejuvenates your songwriting creativity?
Does horrible relationships count?
Not quite a hobby, but
No, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, hobby.
So selfish. Things I do outside of music. I say things. The only thing I do outside of music is binge drink. So yeah, that probably does affect the music in the end.
Yeah.
Well, I found it quite interesting because the other day I was reading this article where songwriters were telling people like how they get their creativity. And although not the same genre, but Frank Ocean often watches movie with the volume muted, and
Ah,
and how he interprets the movie himself. He writes things on that. Is there anything unique with your techniques?
that's really
That's
interesting.
Yeah, that really makes sense now. You know, I love Frank Ocean. I have a lot of respect for Frank
Yeah,
Ocean's songwriting style, and especially his
Yeah,
stuff is incredible. I know Frank Ocean's is one of the greats in that sort of genre at the moment.
mm, I don't know.
It's
It's not
it's
really.
definitely really interesting people who write songs.
Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's not really because I don't tend to write most of the material for Longcoats, but when I do write a song, it's quite often I won't. I'll try and find an interesting perspective to take it from. I don't know. I know Father John Misty's really good at this. He won't always do it from a first person perspective.
Mm.
So, Mr. Tillman, for example, he takes it from it's he's the character living in the hotel, but the song is sung from the perspective of the hotel staff and the people at the reception. I don't know. And yeah, I just kind of not going with your first idea, I guess, and trying to delve deeper into it and really paint the picture as opposed to just saying explicitly what you want to say, I guess. Trying to be poetic about it. I normally am not very good though. I don't know if that made any
Yeah,
sense at all, but
yeah, it
yeah,
does make
yeah.
sense.
I tend to go for the write what you know philosophy.
Mm,
I don't like to. I mean, I take my hand at writing things that I'm not always directly involved in, but I find the best songs I've written are when they're the most personal, and I try not to shy away from being as explicit as possible in what happened in that event. As much as I'd like to be super poetic and creative about it, and overall, and keeping it simpler tends to be a good key to writing a good tune.
Yeah, because if you're writing more simpler, then it lets the listener make a meaning for themselves.
yeah, and more people can relate to it.
Mm.
And yeah, it's just I don't know, isn't it? Don't they say a scientist says something simple with 1,000 words, and an artist says something complicated with 10 words or something like that?
Good quote.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that
Wow,
quote was
you're
from,
edgy.
but yeah, it's something along those lines anyway.
So, what is next for you guys after lockdown? Can we expect gig dates anytime soon?
It's so up in the air at the moment that it's
I
quite
mean,
difficult to
yeah,
nail it down.
yeah. Providing everything kind of gets lifted in time, we've got a really big gig going on at one of our favourite venues in Bath for our EP launch on Halloween. That's going to be good fun. Everyone will be dressed up, and it'll be really nice to get out. But yeah, everything's really up in the air. So I think we'll be taking it for the rest of the year, especially with new members and stuff. We'll probably find our feet again a bit more next year.
Yeah, yeah. And just hopefully be able to hit the circuit a bit more in 2021. Yeah, it's just a big, like the whole world's in a
We've got
state of
some
flux.
cool
And
stuff
yeah,
planned for 2021.
mm,
So what is a dream for you in the future?
Yeah.
Is there anywhere you'd love to perform? Perhaps a USA road trip kind of tour would be quite cool.
Yeah, going on tour.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. Playing anywhere in the US would be pretty banging.
Mm.
I'd like to play Almira in London. It's a really cool place. Also like the idea of doing like O2 Academy gigs and stuff. A proper big tour that's more than just small venues one. That's kind of where we're hoping to get, I think.
How about festivals? Any
Oh
festivals?
yeah, yeah. As we were applying for festival season this year, everything kind of got shut down. But as soon as we can, we'll be trying to get into festivals on the circuit next year. I mean, I'd always like to, my kind of end game, where I guess I know that we'd done something right, is if we were playing at Reading Festival or Leeds. That's
Yeah.
kind of one of my big aspirations.
Yeah, we'd fit in quite well there, probably. Yeah, or maybe even Latitude, possibly if you're thinking somewhere else in the country.
Yeah, Latitude would be good fun. I'd like to play Isle of Wight, good laugh.
Isle of Wight would be good. I've always wanted to play Green Man, but I feel like we might not be quite the right aesthetic for it.
Yeah, I don't think we're edgy enough for Green Man, to be honest.
Yeah, we're a bit basic.
Maybe if we added more ninth chords, we might get in.
Somebody say ninth chords. But yeah, that'd be good. Or maybe one of the smaller stages at Glastonbury would be good as well. Keep it local.
Yeah, Glasgow would be good fun.
Right. So I think we will get into some quick fire questions that don't follow any order, and both of you can answer each. Not necessarily quick fire questions. We can have a conversation about it, but just questions that don't button. So firstly, if you could support any artist on tour, who would you pick?
Yeah, sure.
Ooh. I feel like.
What was the question again?
If you could support any artist on tour, who would you pick?
I think there are three for me, for very different reasons.
I've actually had Lucian tour. Yeah, it's a good shout. I would quite like to play with the Strokes or the Kooks. That'd be a good fun to support. I feel we'd fit the bill quite well.
Yeah, I feel like supporting Foals would be a lot of fun because they always have a good party afterwards, and I feel like we sort of tie into the aesthetic.
That'd be a sick gig.
But just for the fun of it, it'd be good to support Mac DeMarco. I reckon that'd be a right laugh.
I can see that being hilarious.
I know. It's not a tour until you've had a naked jam with Mac DeMarco. That's all I'm saying.
Do you know from experience?
Thundercat knows that from experience. So, yeah. Yeah.
If you could change one thing about the music industry, what would it be?
Just the horrible nature of record labels and just how horrible it is.
Yeah.
Just, if it was actually about the artist as opposed to
I'd definitely change
the margins.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd definitely change how cutthroat it is as well.
Yeah, it's super fickle.
It's more about money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a really dirty industry. It's a poor life decision.
Yeah, it's pure filth. Yeah, it really is. I'm not entirely sure why we're doing this.
No, it's a terrible idea.
This is us announcing the break, folks.
I hope there's a reunion tour.
Yeah. 5 years time.
No one would come.
Yeah. Like, who would we get down? We have Ellis.
Bit more of a brighter topic. What is your favourite moment of the band so far?
Was that favourite moment?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Any stories?
Oh, there've been a few quite. I think getting over
Good
10,000
bits.
streams on each
Um,
singles is pretty great.
yeah.
And we've played a couple of really fun gigs as well that have just been a real good laugh.
I think there was a particularly good one where we got paid to play in this sports pub in Trowbridge, Wiltshire. And well, they don't really do music, so my mate brought down this kind of half-baked PA that he had lying about in his garage. We had to duct tape mics to stands.
Oh yeah,
We
God.
brought a big old Marshall stack for like a 50-seat pub. It was pretty funny. But I think the highlight of all of that was we played Stacey's mum, and the younger people in the room didn't care, and the older people that were in their like 40s were proper jamming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. The thing is, though, the 40-year-olds are the ones that have the money to buy your albums.
Oh, I
Top
mean,
tip.
who knows anymore?
What would be your career path if you weren't in a band?
Ooh. Well, it's somewhere else in music probably. I'd hope to be maybe a studio engineer or something along those lines. But if it's not to do with music entirely, I reckon I'd probably be doing something in science like marine biology or acoustical engineering or something like that, probably.
I'd be a pornographic film star.
Nice.
If you've got it, flaunt it. That's what they always say.
Interesting. Interesting decision.
That's how I intend to leak our album. I'm just going to make a porno and put all the tracks as the soundtrack to it.
I'll definitely get the promotion it needs.
Like, you know, when Frank Ocean put out that like hour-long film of him just building something in a room, and he leaked his album onto it to get attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the unique ways to
Sex slave and put our tunes to it.
Yeah.
Ollie, can you give us a bit of insight into what your Facebook group, the Indie Network, is?
Well, that was a little brainstorm I had when walking back from Tesco about 4 months ago. And there's lots of groups on Facebook for networking in different genres. And well, as much as there's lots of places to appreciate indie music, I didn't feel like there was enough places where you weren't really limited in your genre. So I put a focus on indie music, so I know it quite well. But I was also like, indie is basically just independent. I want all sort of decent independent music on it. We reached over 250 members today. That was pretty fun. It's just a place to connect with people in all different levels with no prejudice as to what you make, and just free creative expression while still thinking with a business mind was kind of the intention. And so far it's going quite well.
So obviously the aim is to get indie bands, artists, bands all together to kind of promote the genre.
Yeah, like a virtual scene,
for sure.
I guess.
Yeah, especially while I can't really play any gigs and we're in the era of live stream gigs and stuff. It's definitely like, it's a place to put them. It's a place to like help sell your merch and promote any videos or during lockdown. How beneficial it will be for people after lockdown is, yeah, but it's definitely giving people some sort of hope that there might be some normality in all this craziness. At least I hope, anyway.
And I think we'll finish with the last question. Arthur, I'll let you answer this.
All right.
Why should viewers to the podcast listen to you, the Longcoats?
Well, because it's a good time. I think that's the main thing. It's nothing too deep. It's just something you can vibe along to. and we were a lot of fun at gigs as well. Yeah.